Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you're catching this. Um, yes, today is issue 9 day of Combat Patrol. So I have issue 9 all crunchy and crinkly in front of me. Isn't it good? So the noisy bit again. The noisy bit out of the way. So today's issue is paints, and only paints. We get an Abaddon Black, the base colour, and we also get a Retributor Armour, which is the gold that I use more often than that. So yes, these are both two colours that I already own and are very well used. But I did say last time that I would find out the rest of the paints that we'll be getting. So with issue 9, we got the Retributor Armour and Abaddon Black. With issue 11, which I will flip over now because it's 9, so it's 10 and 11, the next two. 10 being the Librarian and the Brush, 11 being Corax White and Lead Belcher, which is the base metal colour. So white and steel is what we'll be getting in issue 11. Issue 14, we'll be getting Rakarth Flesh and Screamer Pink. Then issue 16, we'll be getting Mephisto Red and Squig Orange. All the other issues from, 10, 12, 13, 15, 17, 18, 19, and 20 will all be models from then onwards. Now, if you're wondering what models are we going to be getting, I will go through that afterwards. But first of all, let's see what we get in this one. We get two new paints, which we've just gone through, which is gold and black. It now tells you how to go through their painting guide on gold and black, if that's what you wanted. So quite easy, actually, with the black sections. So filling the joints is what they're saying. So these little sections under here where it's like ribbed, fill in those sections. Any block sections on weapons, and same with the pyroblasters, everything around this section. But don't do the bits with the grill and the where the flame bits are. Don't do them bits, just do around the edges. And same with your Terminator Captain, if you cover his gun as well. And all these little rib bits in between. Let's see what it's going to tell us to do on any of the others. Okay, so now it's done with the Abaddon Black. Again, paint the grenade. Where is he? There he is. So I still need to paint the grenade as well. To do that in black, not even though you painted it blue already. Then over the trims and a few of the little bits. So to take all the trim around the shoulder pauldrons is going to be gold. Now this little fellow here has a bullet coming off the back. You can see that there. We want you to paint that in the Retributor armor as well, along with any of the wings and aquillas on the chests. So these wing sections here is also what they want you to paint gold. And find Mr. Man with the grenade again. And this man has like a pendant thing coming down from his leg. I don't know if you can see that there. Just let's find something to point with. That section there. That's also one of the sections they wish you to paint gold. Right there, see. Then when you move on to the captain, so let's go grab Mr. Captain down. I think I've already done most of his, just not quite in the way they wanted me to do. So they want you to do the crossguard, the Aquila, which, as you can see, I've already done. Also done his Iron Halo. And they want you to do all the skulls in gold. I personally chose to do all the skulls in ivory. all the little bits of trim that they want you to do with the gold. Should get you looking, by the end of it, something like this. So they'll have gold trim, a lot of black on the weapons, and still mostly blue apart from anywhere where you've done flesh tones. Still very basic. They've not told us to put any details or washes or anything on, mainly because they've not given any. When it comes to the Tyranids now, it looks like they're going through weaponry and claws and scything sections. So the front scything talons. Do I have anyone here? Right, okay. So yeah, the bits where I've done quite bright here, these are all the bits that it's telling you to essentially pick up with the black. And if you've got Von Ryan's Leapers as well, they're also asking you to do the top of the armor section there of the protruding claw. So these top sections are also the bits that they want you to do black. That's if you're following their painting scheme, of course. If you're doing your own, then you're doing your own. There's not really much they can do to stop you. Same principle all the way through. Black on weapons and claws, on termagants, the Ripper Swarms, the Barb Gaunts, the Lictors. Sorry, not the Lictors, the Von Ryan's Leapers, and the Winged Prime. Pardon me, sorry about that. And I need to look at my comments. I realise I've got no comment sections up. Good morning, Graham. Good morning. Hope I'm not distracting you too much from your busy day. It does make a good point here. Check both sides of the weapon. So if you're doing the Barb Gaunts, make sure you get both sides. So when it's looking like that, you get this side, and then obviously the same again when it goes to that side. So in the case of my little green tip, I've had to make sure it gets both sides in there, as well as tongues and little tiny claw things. And I know I've still got 5 Barb Gaunts out there not doing anything. So this is what they're saying your army should roughly look like by the time you've got up to these Tyranids with the paints that they give us. So it's the burgundy, the wraithbone, and black so far for the Tyranids. The blue, black, gold so far for the Space Marines. Oh, and the flesh shade. We get some interesting reading into different chapters. And the chapter that came with Hachette, the one that they actually have created for them, which is the Silver Templars. But in the playing guide, it's telling us how to do advance rolls. So advancing is a special kind of movement that represents your warriors sprinting at full speed. This is a great way to grab an objective or set up an attack for a later turn. To advance, you move as normal. So who's it giving us? It's giving us Terminator Captain. Okay. We can do Terminator Captain. He has a 5-inch move. So we first of all move him the 5 inches. Then we roll an advance roll. And I need dice. That is the sound of a box of dice. So he would normally only be able to move 5 inches with an advance roll on top. So we roll a d6 and add that number 2. So 2. So in this case, he would move forward an extra 2 to get him 7 inches instead of the 5. Not bad, not bad. So when to use an advance roll? Advancing at the right time is crucial. Sometimes it can feel punishing to sacrifice your ability to shoot and charge, but by advancing you can reach a better position for your next turn. These Von Ryan's Leapers have no hope of charging successfully this turn, even if they move. so it's better to advance with them, thus putting them in a greater position from which to launch a savage attack in the Tyranid's next turn. So as it points out here, if you were to move the von Rheinsleepers up, they would still be in line of sight with their 10-inch move. With an extra advance to get an extra 5 inches, which puts them on the other side of the terrain and puts them out of line of sight so they can't then be shot at. Then they get 10 inches to move next time and they'll be in a charge range. Okay. Units are not allowed to move or advance in engagement range with an enemy. The only move they are allowed to make it in the movement phase is a special kind of fallback. Fallback works just like normal move, except you must use this move to leave engagement range of an enemy unit. As with advancing, a unit that falls back can not usually shoot or charge late that turn. However, some units do have special rules in their data sheet that let them either shoot or charge when they fall back. Knowing when to fall back is crucial, definitely crucial. It's used when you want to get out of combat with a unit far superior to yourself. These Infernus Marines, for example, will not stand up to much punishment from the von Rheinsleepers. You can also use falling back to open up enemy units in combat with your units to shooting attacks from the rest of your army, in the case of this captain. So, in the case of this captain, he was locked up with the von Rheinsleepers. He's fallen back 5 inches, which then means that the Infernus squad can then fire into them and then hopefully wipe out, well, in this case, Termagants in the bottom one, but the same thing would apply with the von Rheinsleepers. Try and take them out in the shooting phase rather than the charge phase. As we've come to the conclusion, my desk is not big enough to run these trial battles. Now, this one actually looks quite fun. We do have 2 pieces of terrain, or Tyranid terrain set up. Space Marine Captain already locked in with Termagants by the looks of it. Von Rheinsleepers set up 2 squares behind, and Barbgaunts in the far bottom corner. I also have Infernus Marines in the far top corner. So there's a couple of ways around you could do that. Personally, I would fall back with him and shoot with them to try and take as many of them out as I can, and give him a bit more room between the von Rheinsleepers. Try and keep everyone out of the way of the Barbgaunts as much as possible. Good morning, GB. Yeah, I know. I do try and cover these quite early. I go to the shop, I get the magazine, I come back, I go through the review. It's out this morning, I get it done and on here as quickly as possible. So there we go. It's actually given the same example that I said I would do, which is drop the captain back to allow the Infernus Marines to shoot. Then you can move them more together, pushing the captain further forward to take the melee units out, and having the Infernus Marines following up behind to come after the Barbgaunts should they need it. The only problem is once you've removed all those Termagants, those von Rheinsleepers are going to just jump straight up into there. The Barbgaunts going to move over, which, as it shows here, puts them in range for, well, as it shows. Not a problem, man, no problem. I'm not getting too far off the end of this magazine anyway, so I won't be up for too much longer, but good luck taking little and two, or young and two, her appointment. Where was he up to? Oh, yes. So, yeah, they've moved the von Rheinsleepers up. They've moved the Barbgaunts so they're within firing range of the Infernus Marines to stop them from moving over. Guessing that the Barbgaunts will then, not the Barbgaunts, the von Rheinsleepers will then go up to tie up the captain, leaving the Barbgaunts to hopefully take care of the rest of the Infernus Marines. Lots of dice rolling. But advancing and falling back is fairly simple. If you fall back out of combat, you usually can't shoot or advance unless you have a special rule on your data sheet that'll tell you can. And if you advance, you usually can't either, unless again you have a special rule on your data sheet. So if all your weapons are assault weapons, for instance, you can advance and shoot them, but you still can't charge. Certain armies can advance and charge naturally; they just can't shoot. So back onto what's coming in the next 2 issues. So as we've already gone over, next week we'll be getting the Librarian in Terminator armor and a medium paintbrush. The week after, which we covered a moment ago, we'll be getting the Corax White and the Lead Belcher paint. So that'll be issue 11, 12 and 13. I've forgotten what 12 and 13 are, so I'm just going to have a quick look. That's 6, 7, 8, 9 is this one, 10 is the Librarian, 12 is 2 paint, 11 is 2 paints. Issue 12 is the start of the Terminators, and issue 13 is the second part of the Terminators, so they'll be coming over 2 issues. Issues 12 and 13. Then issue 14, we get the paints, which are the Rakarth Flesh and the Screamer Pink. Issue 15 and... is it just 15? Just 15, we're getting a full Psychophage in issue 15. Issue 16 is Red and the Orange. Issue 17 and 18 are another set of Termagants, so that'll be another 10. Issue 19 is a Parasite of Mortrex, and issue 20 is the Chaplain on a bike. That's as far as I know, as far as I can find out so far. But that's everything up to 20 that we will be getting, which is fun. I'm really looking forward. I want the Parasite and I want the Chaplain. Good morning or evening, Twisted. It's late for you, isn't it? And Buzzard, good morning. Good morning. So we have another channel to check out for EB, which is More Eclectic Bird. I have no idea what that is, so I'm going to have to go look for it and find it. More Eclectic Bird. No, it's just coming up with The Eclectic Bird. Oh, so you're just getting up and moving. That's all right then. Because like 11 o'clock here is not too bad. We're doing all right. But as far as Combat Patrol issues go, not the greatest value for money, unless you really, really want those 2 paints. Yeah, so not the greatest value for money. We do get the rules on advancing and falling back, which is helpful if you didn't know how to do those in the first place. And it does tell you which parts of the models that you've bought so far to cover with the paint. So it is giving you some, I suppose. But yeah, it's not. They're certainly going through the basic way of doing things, which is not a criticism really, because if you're starting, this is what you want. You want the basics. You want how to do this as you've never done it before, which they are covering. They're leaving a lot out, which I can understand because it's confusing if you don't. But I'm hoping by the time we get to the end of issue 20, we can actually run a full Combat Patrol game. That would be nice. That would be really nice. Now, I have found the More Eclectic Bird channel. It's only 2 videos on it at the moment, so I will check one of them out in a moment after I've finished up here. But thank you very much for everybody who's yeah. You see, same thing twisted. There's going to be issues that people want, issues that people don't. It's like uh, 11, 14, and 16. Unless you specifically want those two paints, and there's only two paints that you get in it, it's not really worth the money for you. Um, unless you are getting a lot out of the lore sections, as well as the how to play sections. You'd need to have money value out of the magazine as well as the paints for the paint issues to actually be worth it for you. You do need that in there. If there's no issue in the if there's no value in the magazine, it should be cheaper buying the paints individually and just getting them if you want. I always need black. My base color is black, so I'll always need more black. And gold can come in useful in case people want to paint something other than miniatures gold. But with that, I will be ending this here. Thank you very much for everybody who's coming to see me. And it's a very quick one today. It's what happens when you don't get models, you see. It goes a lot quicker. It goes a lot quicker. But drive safe, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me. And I will see you probably tomorrow night for the next Cats and Catacombs. I'm not sure who it is. I've got a Warlock, a Paladin, and I can't remember who else I've got left to do. But I do have 3 left to do, so we'll find out who the next one is tomorrow when I ask Sparkles. But until then, everyone have a good day and